Have you ever looked at someone and wondered what's really going on inside their heart? Have you ever trusted someone, only to realize later that they were never honest with you? If you've ever been hurt by fake people, betrayed by someone you believed in, or confused about who to trust, then this video is for you. This is not about judging people. It's not about spying or assuming. It's about using the wisdom that Allah has already given us to protect ourselves, to make better choices, and to connect with people who bring us closer to Him. Islam teaches us that the heart always leaves clues, whether it's in someone's words, their actions, their friends, or their promises. Their soul is always speaking. You just need to learn how to listen. By the end of this video, you'll be able to recognize honesty, spot arrogance, detect jealousy, and understand sincerity, all through the beautiful lens of Islam. Please like, comment, and subscribe to Deen Xplorers for more uplifting Islamic content. 1. Read people by their speech. Every time a person opens their mouth to speak, they are showing you their heart. You might not see it right away, but the words they choose and how they say them tell you more than you think. In Islam, speech is not just communication. It is a reflection of what is inside a person's soul. That's why we are taught to speak good or stay silent. Our words are like windows into our thoughts, our beliefs, and even our intentions. And if you learn how to listen carefully, you can understand what someone truly values, not just by what they say, but by how often they say it and in what way. When someone constantly speaks negatively, complains about life, or always puts others down, that speech is not random. It's coming from a heart that may be full of resentment, arrogance, or unhappiness. On the other hand, a person who encourages others, remembers Allah, speaks with patience, and praises good, that's a person whose heart is alive with goodness. The mouth simply delivers what the heart holds. You don't need to guess a person's mindset when their words are already telling you the truth. One of the most important moments to observe someone's speech is during hardship. When things go wrong, when they feel frustrated, or when they are tested, do they start blaming others? Do they start swearing or complaining? Do they speak badly about Allah or His plans? Or do they remain calm, speak with wisdom, and remind others to stay strong? These moments show what is really inside. Everyone can speak nicely when life is easy. But what about when life is not going their way? That's when the heart speaks through the tongue. And that's when you need to pay attention. You can also tell a lot about a person by what they talk about most. Someone whose words are always about money, fashion, or showing off has likely placed their desires above their soul. But someone whose words are about values, faith, and helping others is clearly driven by something more meaningful. The topics people choose to discuss reveal what matters to them. You don't need to guess their priorities. Their tongue already tells you what's most important to them. And there's another part. Tone. How someone says something matters just as much as what they say. A kind heart will speak in a gentle, respectful tone, even during disagreements. But a proud heart will raise its voice to feel powerful. You can't fake tone. You can't cover arrogance with fancy words. It shows through. So always observe how people speak, not just what they say. A kind word in a harsh tone loses its value, but even hard truth said gently is respected. So, if you really want to understand someone deeply, listen more than you speak. Let their words guide you to their heart. Don't just hear, pay attention, because the voice may lie, but the speech always leaves a trace. And once you master this skill through Islamic wisdom, you will be able to protect yourself from harm, surround yourself with the right people, and live a life filled with deeper understanding and trust in Allah's guidance. 2. Watch their actions. When no one is looking, a person's true character is never what they show in front of others. It's what they do when no one is watching. It's easy to act kind, generous, or righteous when people are around. Many people can perform goodness in public to be seen, admired, or praised. But the truth of the soul is exposed in silence, in darkness, in solitude. When there is no one to clap, no eyes to impress, and no spotlight to stand under. That's where you find the real version of a person. Islam teaches us that sincerity is everything. Allah does not look at our faces or appearances. He looks at our hearts and our actions, especially those done in secret. If someone prays beautifully in the masjid but ignores prayer at home, that shows that their prayer is for people, not for Allah. If someone gives charity only when the camera is on or when others are watching, that's not true generosity. That's performance. But if someone does good silently, quietly, without needing attention or thanks, that is a sign of true piety. Many people are fooled by what they see. They assume someone is honest because they talk sweetly. They assume someone is religious because they quote verses. But quoting Islam is not the same as living it. And Islam is not measured by how someone acts at a gathering. It's measured by how they behave when it's just them and their Lord. So if you want to know someone deeply, observe their consistency. Do they still pray when they are alone? Do they still speak kindly when no one will reward them for it? Do they help others when there is no benefit for them? That's where the truth lives. This kind of character can't be faked. You can dress a certain way, use religious language, or act spiritual. But if your private life is full of disobedience, cruelty, or lies, then your outer image is nothing but a mask. And Allah knows every hidden thing. We may hide from people, but we can never hide from Him. Our secret lives are written, watched, and will be brought before us on the day of judgment. Now, this doesn't mean you go spying on others or searching through their secrets. That's not allowed in Islam. What it means is that over time, people's habits reveal their sincerity. If someone is always looking for fame, always posting their good deeds, or only doing good when there is praise involved, that's a red flag. But if someone continues to do good quietly, without any need for credit, and never speaks of their own actions, that's the kind of person who does it for the sake of Allah. Reading someone through their private behavior is not about judging them, it's about protecting yourself. It's about surrounding yourself with people who are sincere, who will lift you spiritually, who will remind you of Allah by their actions even when no one is looking. These are the people who will never betray you, because they fear Allah more than they fear people. So next time you want to understand someone deeply, don't be fooled by their loud prayers or long speeches. Instead, quietly observe how they live when there's no audience. Do they show up for others when no one is watching? Do they help without posting it online? Do they lower their gaze even when no one else is in the room? These are signs of real sincerity, and real sincerity is rare. And also, look at yourself. What do you do when no one is watching? Because before you try to read others, remember, Allah is always reading you. Let your private actions shine more than your public image. Let your faith be loudest when the world is silent. That's the path to true honor, the kind that Allah sees, rewards, and never forgets. 3. The company they keep. If you want to understand someone quickly and deeply, look at the people they surround themselves with. A person may try to hide their true personality. They may act a certain way in front of you to impress or gain your trust. But the company they keep, their close friends, their daily companions, will always tell the truth about who they really are. Because we naturally attract what we are, and we slowly become like the people we spend time with. Why is this so important? Because humans are creatures of influence. We pick up habits without realizing it. If you sit with people who curse all day, you may not curse, but you'll get used to hearing it. If you sit with people who love to waste time, you'll start seeing wasted time as normal. But if you sit with those who fear Allah, who remind you of the Qur'an, who inspire you to be better, your heart will feel peace and direction. And if someone chooses to stay close to people who are far from Allah, that reveals a lot about their priorities. You might ask, what if someone just has bad friends but is still a good person? The truth is, your heart always chooses its comfort zone. And your comfort zone says everything. People don't keep bad company by accident. If someone feels happy, relaxed, and at home with those who disobey Allah openly, who mock the religion, joke about sin, or encourage evil, then deep inside, that's where their own heart leans to. A sincere believer may find themselves in bad environments once in a while, but they won't be at peace there. They'll feel uncomfortable. They'll want to leave. But if someone stays, laughs, and blends in with corruption, their soul is not where you think it is. Now let's talk about how to apply this when reading someone. Don't just look at their Instagram captions or hear their religious words. Ask, who are their role models? Who do they joke with every day? Who do they go out with? Who do they turn to for advice? These people influence their decisions. If someone surrounds themselves with intelligent, kind, God-fearing people, that's someone who seeks truth and wants to grow. But if they spend all their time with people who love gossip, mock others, or encourage sin, no matter what they say, their heart is walking that same path. And also, don't ignore red flags. If someone defends bad friends or says, "I know they do wrong, but I love them anyway," that's a sign that they're emotionally tied to those values. We don't have to hate people, but we must know who influences us. Islam doesn't tell us to cut people off harshly, but it does tell us to protect our faith and guard our hearts. Who you keep close will either bring you closer to Allah or pull you away. There is no neutral ground. So when you want to read someone, anyone, just look at who they choose to walk with in life. That will tell you what kind of journey they're on. And be careful with your own circle too. Make your closest companions people who fear Allah, who support you when you want to grow, and who make you feel ashamed of sin, not proud of it. Real friendship isn't about laughter and selfies. It's about helping each other enter Jannah. And when you find someone surrounded by righteous companions, know that person is walking a blessed path. That is someone worth trusting. 4. How they treat those weaker than them. If you really want to know someone's heart, don't look at how they treat their boss or their friends. Look at how they treat those who are weaker than them, people who cannot benefit them, people who have no status, or those who are seen as less powerful in society. This is where true character is revealed. Because when there is no pressure to impress and nothing to gain, people drop their masks. And that's when their soul speaks through their behavior. Now look around in today's world. Many people speak nicely to the rich but ignore the poor. They shake hands with those in power but won't even greet a cleaner. They speak with respect to someone famous but treat waiters, drivers, or helpers like they are invisible. This is not a small mistake. This reveals the condition of their soul. A good heart doesn't need an audience to behave kindly. It doesn't need a title to offer respect. A sincere person is consistent in their goodness, whether speaking to a king or a street worker. And the truth is, when someone only respects those they fear or admire, their heart is filled with pride. It means their actions are based on benefit, not love. But when someone respects everyone, even those weaker than them, their actions come from a place of purity. They do it for Allah, not for reward or praise. That's a sign of a clean heart. So, when you're trying to read someone instantly, just quietly observe how they behave with those who have nothing to offer. Are they still gentle? Are they still patient? That will tell you everything. In our daily life, we meet people who serve us, at shops, in homes, on the streets. Some people speak down to them, shout at them for mistakes, or ignore them completely. But a believer knows that kindness to the weak is a form of worship. When you smile at someone who feels forgotten, when you greet a poor man with the same energy as a rich one, when you help someone who cannot repay you, you are earning love from Allah. These actions may seem small, but in the eyes of Allah, they are mighty. Now, let's be honest. Sometimes people act nice in public, especially when others are watching. But when they are in control, maybe as a boss or a landlord or an elder, that's when you see their real nature. Do they show mercy, or do they use their power to control, shout, and hurt? That's where you read the truth. And if someone uses their strength to lift others, instead of crushing them, That is someone with a noble heart. Islam honors the weak. In fact, many of those who are forgotten in this world will be raised high on the day of judgment. That poor man you ignored might be walking ahead of kings in Jannah. That orphan you treated kindly may make dua for you that saves your soul. The people you overlook might be the ones closest to Allah. So never look down on anyone, and never trust someone who does. So next time you meet someone new, don't just watch how they treat you, especially if they think you're important. Instead, pay attention to how they speak to the elderly, the needy, and those without power. Watch how they react to someone who can't offer them anything. If they are still soft, respectful, and caring, then you are in the presence of a beautiful heart. But if they become rude, loud, or dismissive, no matter how kind they are to you, that's not someone you should trust with your soul. In the end, the way we treat the weak reveals our strength. And in the eyes of Allah, strength is not in the body. It's in the heart that bows in kindness to all of His creation. 5. How they react to success and failure. The way a person reacts during moments of success or failure is one of the clearest reflections of who they truly are inside. You may not truly understand someone when life is normal, when everything is steady, or when there is nothing to lose or gain. But when a person suddenly succeeds, or when life brings them to their knees, that is when the truth of their heart is revealed. These moments act like a mirror, showing the inner strength, the hidden pride, or the deep humility within. In times of success, a humble heart will immediately thank Allah. A heart that understands the purpose of life does not become proud or arrogant when it receives a blessing. Instead, it becomes more grateful, more aware, and more generous. But an arrogant person, even if they used to pretend to be kind or soft, will reveal their pride when they taste success. Suddenly, their tone changes. They begin to speak as if they earned everything on their own. They forget the struggles. They forget Allah. They begin to look down on others and believe they are special. They no longer speak to people the same way. And that's when you realize their success didn't change them. It only exposed them. Failure also reveals the soul. When life becomes hard, when a person loses a job, a relationship, or a dream, their reaction speaks volumes. Do they give up on hope? Do they blame Allah? Do they become angry and bitter? Or do they turn to prayer? A strong heart is not the one that never falls. It is the one that, even when crushed, still believes that Allah has a plan. This level of faith is not fake. It cannot be performed. It is only real in those who have built their trust in Allah over time. Sometimes you will see a person who, when they were poor, used to be very kind and religious. But after getting wealth, their behavior changes. They forget the people who helped them. They ignore the poor they once were part of. They stop praying on time. They become busy chasing more success instead of helping others with what they have. They begin to think their knowledge or hard work brought them everything. This shows that their heart was always connected to the world, not to the Creator of the world. And on the other side, there are those who face terrible hardship, yet they still have a smile. They lose loved ones, they lose money, they face betrayal, yet they keep trusting Allah. They say, there is wisdom in this. They use their failure to get closer to Allah. This is a sign of someone who truly understands the temporary nature of this world. They know that success and failure are both tests from Allah. Neither defines your worth. Only your response does. If you really want to read someone, don't look at them when life is peaceful. Wait for the storm. Wait for the reward. Wait for the moment when their plans succeed or fail. Watch their eyes. Listen to their words. See how they treat others during those times. Do they remain grounded, or do they float away into pride? Do they collapse into hopelessness, or do they hold tightly to their faith? Life will always bring ups and downs. But those who are strong in faith stay balanced. They don't lose themselves in victory, and they don't destroy themselves in loss. These are the people you can trust. These are the souls that are stable, sincere, and guided. And when you find someone like this, keep them close, because their strength does not come from this world. It comes from Allah. At the end of the day, we all want peace. We want honest people in our lives. We want to feel safe, valued, and respected. And Islam gives us the tools to protect our hearts and build meaningful connections. Allah doesn't leave us in the dark. He gives us signs, wisdom, and guidance to recognize the truth. So remember this: if you want to read someone instantly, don't rush. Watch their words, observe their actions. Notice who they walk with, see how they handle pressure. The heart always reveals itself, either through light or through darkness. And the more you seek Allah, the more He will open your eyes to what's real. And most importantly, become the kind of person others can trust too. Be sincere, be humble, be honest. Because the best way to understand others is to first purify your own soul. May Allah bless you with wisdom, protect you from harm, and surround you with the best people. Please like, comment, and subscribe to Deen Xplorers. Your journey to truth starts here.